In this video, I want to illustrate a clipping mask, putting an image inside of lettering. I'm going to use the word Arizona for my lettering, so all I'm going to do is just type it in the middle of my page. And then I'm going to pick another font, not this one. I'm going for a font that's pretty wide. And I'm going to go down here, and the one I found that I want to use is called Cooper Black. And I want the font to be really wide because I'm going to end up putting a photo that I took of the Grand Canyon inside this Arizona text. Okay, now I'm going to right click on the text itself. Well, I'll just do that. And then I'm going to go down here and click Convert to Curves. And when I click Convert to Curves, what's going to happen is you'll see that now it says that it's a group. And if you open up the group, each of the letters in Arizona shows up down here. And you'll need that because the picture is going to be put inside the letters, not just behind the letters or in front of it with an opacity change or anything like that. So now we need to go through these letters, and I want to press Control, and then I'm going to group them together. So I'll do that, and after I press Control, I'm going to go up here to these Boolean operators up here. Remember them from a long time ago? I don't know how many videos ago it's been now, but these are the Boolean operators: the add, subtract, intersect, XOR, and divide. But we're going to add all these letters up. So I'm going to punch add, and that will add up all my letters. And so now we'll have the group with the letters inside the group. And that's kind of the way we want this. Alrighty. Now I'm going to pick a color for my group here. And the color that I'm going to pick is going to have something to do with the outline of each of the letters. So I'm not going to have the outline of each of the letters black. I'm going to have it like a dark blue color. So I'm going to make my Arizona dark blue like that. So I'm going to stick with that. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, not that much different. That one. Well, I'll leave it like that. We can always change it later. I'm going to be adding some effects to the lettering anyway as it is. Okay, so now that we have that done, I need to pull in my image. So I'm going to go File and Place, and then go hunt for my image of the Grand Canyon. And I don't know how old this image is, but I tell you, when somebody tells you that pictures don't do something justice, most of the time they're exaggerating. But with the Grand Canyon, I have to say I agree with that. Pictures don't do it justice. So there's my Grand Canyon picture. I'm going to make sure that it covers everything up. And then what I want to do is I want to take it and pull it into my curves. And you can tell that it's doing the right thing because it will now go inside my lettering for Arizona. So if it doesn't do that, it's probably because it's not in the right layering. You either have it in here or you have it, nested somewhere else. It needs to be nested below this curves layer for all the individual letters that we added using the Boolean operators. So with my Grand Canyon image selected, I am going to move it to get the effect I want. I want some of the sky to be there. So I'm just going to move this around until I get the effect I want on my Grand Canyon. And now I have part of the canyon and I have part of the sky that's already in there. Okay, now I need a background. So I'm going to get a rectangle and then put a rectangle over this, and then I'm going to move it down below everything because it's our background, and I don't really like that particular color of background. So I want to have a kind of a brown desert type color. So I'm going to go down here somewhere and try and pick one. And I need it to be deserty like that. Deserty's not a word, but you see where I'm going with this. Okay, so then with that done, I want it to have a bit of a more sandy effect. So I'm going to go down here and under filters, I'm going to click filters and then I'm going to press add noise. And the live add noise panel will open up and then you can adjust the amount of noise that you want just by moving the slider. So it just kind of depends on how you want this to be. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it like that. I already went through all the blend modes and they look terrible, so I'm not really I'm just going to add the noise and then I'm just going to click out of that. All right, now what I want to do is to put a gradient on my rectangle. So I need to open this up, which I just did, but I don't want the add noise to be selected. I want the rectangle to be selected. And then I want to go over here to my gradient tool and go up here to elliptical. And we'll have an elliptical gradient. That is a little bit on the dark side. So if I can stop this over. Okay. So I'm going to, this is already selected, so I'm just going to go in here and maybe lighten it up a little bit in the middle. And then go on the outside here and then lighten that up. I don't want it to be that brown. So we can just adjust our color. Let's see what happens if I do that. Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't have it that color before, but I sort of like that. Let's move that. Okay, I think I'm going to take this one, that little, it's more orangey. I've done this about 4 times to see which one I like the best. I did one with a blue background. That looked pretty good. One with a black background, that looked terrible. But this one, I think I'm going to stick with this. And I'm going to keep that as my background. Okay, now, the last thing that I want to do is to go into the letters, and then I'm going to give them some effects. So I'm going to go into FX and punch FX, and then I want an outer shadow. So I'm going to click outer shadow, and then I want an offset for my outer shadow. Adjust the radius and outer shadow until I kind of get what I want. And I think I'm going to, let me see. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I did a 3D before, but I wasn't really thrilled with that. But I think I'm going to add a glow to that. I'm sort of going off script here. So I'm going to add a glow on the outside and do that. But I don't want to have a white glow. I want to have a glow that is, where are my swatches? I want to have a glow that is a shade of brown, and then all I have to do is to go back to my HSL sliders and adjust how bright it is. So I've got that glow, and maybe a little bit more like that. So it's got a glow around it. And let's get out of there, and maybe let's see what happens if I have a bigger radius. I don't know. I don't want it to be like that. Let's go to outer shadow again and make the radius bigger for the shadow and the offset. Okay, and let's get out of there and just take a look at what we have. So I'm going to close this and click out so we can see what we have. And I think I'm going to go with that. So I think this is what I'm going to go for my design. Give this a try with your own photos to see what you can come up with. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay up to date on my videos. By now you should know the drill on this. And buy me a cup of coffee to help support my channel by clicking on the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description.